Before we begin, just want to let you know this is going to be a two-part video. I wanted to get something out to you guys first, and this video has been in development for a while, so I'm going to make it a two-parter. Hopefully it's good enough that you'll want to see the second part. Anyway, on to the video. Hey guys, it's Infinity, coming at you today with another Elder Scrolls video. Today I kind of wanted to discuss with you guys the idea of the Deadric Princes and which one might be involved in Elder Scrolls 6's plot. See, there's always Deadric Princes when it comes to Elder Scrolls games, and they always like to get their fingers into the little story to see what they can mess with. When it came to Morrowind, it was Azora. When it came to the Blood Moon DLC for that game, it was Hircine. And when it came to Oblivion, it was Mehrunes Dagon. When it came to the Shivering Isles DLC, it was of course Sheogorath. In Skyrim, Hermaeus Mora played a major role in the main story, or not the main story, but he appeared in the main story. And then he appeared again as a main part of the Dragonborn DLC. And you always see stuff like Molag Bal when it came to the Dawnguard DLC. Obviously he was involved in making the vampires, but that was more of the history of the vampires and all that, and I'm kind of rambling right now, but you get the point. They're always kind of involved in the main plot. They like seeing where they can kind of mess with people, like seeing where they can kind of intervene in the mortal affairs of the world. And it's interesting to think which one might show up in Elder Scrolls 6 based off of which ones might have already appeared, because we seem to have a pattern of if they appear in a major DLC or story plot, they typically don't show up again, at least not in a major way. So which ones might we see in the next Elder Scrolls game? So I have a list of Deadric Princes in front of me. I'm going to go down the list and see which ones have appeared and which ones haven't appeared. If they've appeared, I'll say which game they're from and how they had an involvement. And if they have not appeared already, I'll say how they could make an appearance in Elder Scrolls 6 or whether I think they won't or will. So first up is Azora. Okay, so Azora has already appeared in Morrowind. She was kind of one of the main driving forces behind the Nerevarine and kind of pushed him onward and spoke to him or her, depending upon which character gender you played. They were guided by Azora and on her path to basically fix Vardenfell and help all of Morrowind. She had helped kind of guide you through the main story. You can kind of see that if you watch the cutscenes of Morrowind. She appears in the very beginning, the first ever cutscene, as she's trying to talk to you through your dreams and such, and she continues to appear to kind of tell you what you should be doing and what's going on in the prophecy and what you are. Since Azora already played a major role in Morrowind, I highly doubt that she is going to make a major appearance in the Elder Scrolls 6. Now, it's not impossible. I just, at this point, am assuming that she's already had her role in the Elder Scrolls story. Okay, next up is Boethiah. Now, real quick, before I get into it, I'm going to say he, and then she, and then he, and then she. Boethiah is an it. All the Deadric Princes are an it. They choose to appear as guys or girls. They can change their appearance within a snap of a finger. It does not matter. They don't have a set gender. They just exist, and they can choose to appear in whichever state they wish to appear in. So, in Daggerfall through Oblivion, Boethiah was a guy. In Skyrim, suddenly she's a girl, and it just doesn't matter really, I guess. So has Boethiah ever shown up in a main quest before? No, I don't believe she ever has. He, she, it, whatever. Boethiah has been involved in some minor stories when it comes to Legends. She appears in the main story, or I wouldn't say she would appear in the main story. Her artifact appears in the main story, and you have to face one of the Daedra who has Goldbrand, one of her artifacts. But for the most part, she has never ever appeared as a main character or a main conflict, besides some minor appearances in the main story as a Daedric quest. She is the Deadric Prince of deceit, conspiracy, secret plots of murder, assassination, treason, and unlawful overthrow of authority. Now, I find that interesting when I read that off because I could easily think of a couple different ways he, she, it could be involved in the main story. See, Boethiah, like I just said, is really into overthrowing, authority. And I already speculated that maybe the Empire might be dying around the time, of the main story of Elder Scrolls 6. Whether or not it's years in the future after Skyrim or 100 or so years after Skyrim, it all depends upon whether or not the Empire will still be around. If the Empire is still around, you bet Boethiah is going to be all over the idea of overthrowing them, because they have always kind of been there, and they were a major power, and the idea of overthrowing them is just way too tempting for someone who just loves that kind of stuff. But, I don't know. I know someone in the past has mentioned the idea of Goldbrand making a main appearance in the game as it has disappeared after Skyrim, because Boethiah's artifact in Skyrim was the Ebony Mail. You got it from one of her previous champions, and then you got to use it after that. The whole idea, though, is that we haven't seen Goldbrand since Oblivion. It's been gone for a couple hundred years now, and while it appeared during the time of the Great War between the Imperials and the Aldmeri Dominion, well, we haven't seen it since then. And it didn't make a mainstay appearance, even though, if I'm not mistaken, it has appeared as a DLC item for the Creation Club. Nope, I am wrong. That was Chrysamere. Wrong giant sword. But yes, either way, Boethiah could make an appearance in Elder Scrolls 6 in that way. That she, he, it, whatever, could be involved in just some way of overtaking the Imperials, maybe, or messing with them, or trying to get them to mess up. Maybe she could fail. Maybe she could succeed. Who knows? Maybe she'll be involved in the main plot. Maybe the whole idea will be, like I said, the end of the Empire. Next up is Clivicus Vile. Clivicus Vile does actually make an appearance in an Elder Scrolls game as one of the main points in the story. The only problem is it's not a main story, it is a spin-off called Redguard. In Redguard, Cyrus is currently trying to find his sister. His sister has actually been, if I'm not mistaken, soul-trapped by a slowed necromancer. While he found the slowed necromancer and killed him, he found out the soul had been sacrificed to Clivicus Vile. He had to actually summon and go to Clivicus Vile's Realm of Oblivion, and then he had to actually make a deal with him. Now, like I said earlier, the only problem is this title wasn't a main series title. It was a spin-off made after, if I'm not mistaken, it was made after Daggerfall. See, if it was a main series title like Skyrim, Oblivion, Morrowind, Daggerfall, I would have counted him off the list, but I actually can still see him making an appearance in the main story of Elder Scrolls 6. What he would be doing, I'm not entirely sure. See, Clivicus Vile is the Deadric Prince of power, trickery, wishes, serenity, and bargains. He is known to be a trickster. He is the child Daedra of the entire group. And see, when it comes to Clivicus Vile, he doesn't really get involved with a lot of major plots. The only thing I remember him ever being a part of was Umbra, and I'm not entirely sure Umbra is going to make a main, appearance in any major Elder Scrolls game. See, because the thing was, Umbra was just a little side thing to do in Oblivion. It was one of the Daedric quests in Oblivion, and see, Clivicus Vile after that has had a lot more encounters with Umbra outside of the main games, but the problem is, I'm not entirely sure how Umbra could relate to Elder Scrolls 6. Maybe that could be another theory if any of you guys can come up with something, but I'm stumped. I have no idea. There's nothing I can come up with off the top of my head. Okay, now we move on to one of my favorite Daedric princes, Hermaeus Mora. Now, Hermaeus Mora, I'm going to count off the list of being in Elder Scrolls 6 because, while he might be a Daedric quest, obviously, like everybody will be, I don't think he is going to make a main appearance in the main story. The problem with this is the fact that he already played a major role in the Dragonborn DLC. See, Hermaeus Mora actually had previously been semi-involved in the main plot of Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. In Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, he made an appearance when you tried to do the Septimus Sigmus quest. It wasn't really so much of a main appearance as it, now I think about it, it was more of a side quest. But since you already worked with Septimus Sigmus, you could continue the quest after the main game, and you could just do his Daedric quest and get the Ogma Infinium. After this, the Dragonborn DLC came out, which was the last DLC for Skyrim, and it focused around Miraak, the first Dragonborn, and his connections to Hermaeus Mora in the Realm of Apocrypha, his plane of Oblivion. See, Hermaeus Mora already plays a huge role in this DLC as he is directly connected to Miraak and you have to make a deal with him. So by the end of the DLC, the Dragonborn is indebted to Hermaeus Mora, but Hermaeus Mora makes several major appearances throughout that DLC. I'd even go as far as to say that it is his DLC at this point. If it wasn't for the fact that Miraak was there, it would be all about Hermaeus Mora. Okay, next up is Hircine. Hircine is the Daedric Prince of the hunt, sport, the great game, and the chase. He's basically known for hunting. He is the creator of lycanthropy, which is the rare condition of becoming a werewolf, and many other forms of lycanthropy such as wereborism and other things like were-crocodiles and were-sharks. That's not important. What's important is that he has already made an appearance in the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind's DLC Blood Moon. He is the main antagonist and basically is the whole reason the character is even doing that DLC. So I highly doubt he would make an appearance in Elder Scrolls 6 as a main, I suppose you could say, conflict or main part of the, main story. But besides that, obviously he'll show up as a Deadric side quest, but that's about it. Now, he might not make an appearance in the main story, but he could show up as a DLC. See, we have already gone through the Blood Moon prophecy of the 3rd era, which was in Morrowind, but as of Skyrim we are in the 4th era, so he could show up as a DLC or maybe in another game after this, but I highly doubt they would give him the spotlight of the main story given how he already had his own DLC dedicated to him. So next up is Malakath. Malakath is the Deadric Prince of emptiness, betrayal, broken promises, and anguish. He has not played a major role in any of the Elder Scrolls games, though he does obviously make an appearance in every single one of them as a side quest, like I've said before. I feel like he might actually make an appearance in Elder Scrolls 6 in a major way if Orsinium is rebuilt within the area that the Elder Scrolls 6 might be taking place, which I've theorized it takes place in the Iliac Bay. Which, if you don't know, Orsinium in Daggerfall was in the Iliac Bay, and most people say it was destroyed, but it was also destroyed when it was rebuilt within the Hammerfell Mountains. So even if it doesn't make an appearance in the Elder Scrolls 6, he still might make a major appearance given if they are trying to form Orsinium up in the mountains in the Iliac Bay again, because Malakath might be trying to help his people out, the orcs, in an attempt to get their own place. But that might not play a major role, it might just be a side quest, so still. After we talk about Malakath, now we're going to move on to Mehrunes Dagon. Mehrunes Dagon is the Prince of Destruction, Violent Upheaval, Energy, and Mortal Ambition. He's also the Deadric Prince of Change. See, this one is very easy. I know he's not going to make a major appearance in Elder Scrolls 6 because he's already played a huge role in Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. See, Mehrunes Dagon was the whole driving force behind the main story. His cult, the Mythic Dawn, were trying to assassinate the Emperor and bring him into the mortal plane of Tamriel. So I highly, highly doubt he's going to make a major appearance in Elder Scrolls 6. Now, I say that, but I'm also second-guessing myself because he was a major part of the Battle Spire. See, in Elder Scrolls Battle Spire, he was one of the main antagonists of the story as he held the soul of the friend of the main character, the apprentice. If you watched my protagonist video, I kind of go over the story of Battle Spire just a little bit, and that was one of the few things I figured out about it. So he has played a semi-major role before, but even then, Battle Spire was many years before Oblivion came out. It was even before Morrowind came out, so I don't think that it's going to happen so soon, especially since Oblivion was only a game or so away from Skyrim. Okay, the last one I'm going to talk about in this part is Mephala. She is the Deadric Prince of lies, sex, murder, and secrets. Now, Mephala has not made an appearance within any of the other Elder Scrolls games, besides being a side quest or related to maybe online in some way. As it comes to some of the main series titles or even some of the spin-offs, she hasn't really been involved in the main plot before. I don't really see a way that she could be involved in the main plot of Elder Scrolls 6, but then again, we're not really given any context as to what Elder Scrolls 6 is really about. For all I know, it will be surrounding something very related to Mephala, so I don't know. It would be okay if she showed up. There's a good chance she should, since she hasn't really had a major role in any of the other games, so who knows? She is definitely counted at this point since she hasn't really been given a chance to shine before. Okay guys, that's going to be it for this one. The next part is going to talk about the rest of the Deadric Princes. I went through Azora through Mephala, so that means the next one's going to be about Meridia through Vermina. So hopefully this video was good. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I look forward to making the next one. I just wanted to get something out before, you guys were like, he's never going to do a Deadric Prince video. And I'm like, I am doing it. I just keep getting distracted by everything. So I'll start working on the next one, but expect hopefully within the next day or so me streaming Skyrim together because I'm trying to get it all set up. I know as of this moment it's down, but maybe by the time this video actually goes up, it'll be up again. So if I haven't already streamed it, I probably will be streaming it tomorrow, if not sometime within the next week or so. Until then, thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys watching. If you like the video, please like it. It makes it so that it's recommended to other people. and subscribe if you want to see more. I hope to see you guys come back in the future, and until then, say it with me now: play well, eat well, and live well, friends. I hope you guys go out there and strive to break infinity.